Gender equality is the central organizing principle of CARE's Vision 2030. However, gender-based violence remains a critical barrier to achieving gender equality. Why must we eliminate gender-based violence? Gender-based violence, or GBV, is any form of violence against an individual based on that individual's biological sex, gender identity or expression, or perceived adherence to socially defined expectations of what it means to be a man or woman, boy or girl. GBV can be physical, sexual, psychological, and economic. GBV is most often perpetrated by intimate partners, but also by other family members, acquaintances, and strangers. GBV can occur in private and public settings. GBV also includes practices such as child and early forced marriage and female genital mutilation. These are discriminatory forms of violence, often condoned by society, influenced by harmful social and gender norms. All forms of GBV are human rights violations and should not be tolerated. GBV can occur in any setting, in development settings or during humanitarian crises. In crises, GBV risks and prevalence tend to increase. For example, due to mass displacement, disruption of support services, and limited access to food and essential resources. Why does GBV occur? GBV is an abuse of power and is rooted in gender inequality. In all its forms, GBV is intended to intimidate, control, create fear, and reinforces gender inequality. Who is most at risk? While anyone can be subjected to GBV, women and children are significantly more likely to experience GBV due to inequitable gender norms and power relations in society. The intersection of different forms of discrimination based on sexual orientation, class, ethnicity, age, or disability can also increase some groups' risk to GBV and their ability to access help. For example, LGBTQI communities and people living with disabilities. What is the impact of GBV? The negative physical, psychological, sexual, and socio-economic impacts on survivors can be tremendous, and at worst, it can be fatal. GBV not only impacts survivors, but also affects entire communities and countries. Though GBV is widespread, it is preventable. How does CARE eliminate GBV? Together with our partners and allies, CARE aims to reduce GBV for 7 million people by 2030. CARE's approach to ending GBV consists of 3 main programmatic pillars. GBV risk mitigation aims to reduce exposure to GBV across CARE's programming. CARE does this by consulting with at-risk groups to identify GBV risks and adapting our programming to make it safer, more inclusive, and accessible. GBV response aims to ensure that survivors have access to timely, high-quality, life-saving information and services to recover and regain agency and control over their lives. CARE, together with its partners, does this by providing first-line support that includes empathetic counseling, safety planning, and referrals upon disclosure of GBV, legal and psychological support, and economic support. GBV prevention addresses root causes of GBV by empowering people of all genders to change harmful social norms and mobilizing communities to bring about positive change. What are CARE's key programming principles? All of CARE's GBV programming must adhere to the principle of do no harm and a survivor-centered approach. CARE's GBV guidance can be found internally on the GBV Hub on CARE Shares and externally on the CARE Emergency Toolkit and care.org. For more information on CARE's GBV programming, visit the GBV Hub on CARE Shares and CARE's GBV GBVIE Community of Practice Teams channel.